Welcome to The Explainer. I'm really glad you're here today. We are going to be taking a close look at the CCNA 200-301 certification. Now, you might be thinking, wait, isn't the CCNA just a networking exam? Well, yes and no. Obviously, it tests your networking chops, but what we're going to explore today is how this exact certification acts as the absolute bedrock for a career in cybersecurity. Because, let's face it, you simply cannot protect a fortress if you have no idea how its walls were built. So grab your blueprints and let's get started.
Here is our game plan for today. We'll start with the exam blueprints, move into Layer 2 network access, build out our IP connectivity, set up our IP utilities, and then finally lock it all down with security and cyber ops.
All right, part 1, the blueprint. Let's look at the core exam fundamentals.
So Cisco structures the CCNA 200-301 as a 120-minute gauntlet with roughly 100 questions. It tests you across 6 key knowledge domains. If you look at the scoring breakdown, IP connectivity is your heaviest hitter at 25%, with network fundamentals and network access sitting right behind at 20% each. But here's the kicker, security fundamentals makes up a solid 15%, and automation and programmability takes up 10%. This certification isn't just about plugging in Ethernet cables anymore, it's a completely holistic foundation.
What's genuinely fascinating is how Cisco forces this cert to stay relevant. For the syllabus, extending through 2026, they've actually stripped out older, localized tools like Chef and Puppet. Instead, they are leaning hard into open standards and the actual future of tech. We're talking generative AI, machine learning, Terraform for infrastructure as code, and cloud device management. The modern network is incredibly smart and automated, and your baseline knowledge has to reflect that reality.
Moving on to part 2, network access. This is our bedrock. Okay, so the data link layer, or layer 2 in the OSI model. This layer is strictly responsible for transporting data within a local network. It's essentially the middleman between your physical cables and the higher-level protocols like IP, using the MAC sublayer and logical link control to format data perfectly for the wire. And here is the absolutely crucial takeaway for security. You cannot possibly secure a local area network if you don't intimately understand how data physically travels across it at this exact layer.
These Layer 2 mechanics, they operate directly on your network switches. And a switch is not just a dumb pipe. It dynamically learns where devices are located by watching source MAC addresses. That's MAC learning. It maintains a whole MAC address table, and if it suddenly doesn't know where a destination is, it actually performs frame flooding, where it just blasts the data out everywhere trying to find the target. As a security pro, knowing exactly how a switch builds that table is vital, because attackers know exactly how to abuse those very mechanics.
Which brings us to part 3, IP connectivity. Time to build the walls.
I really love this quote from Aaron Balchinas's CCNA study guide because it grounds us. It reminds us that protocols never exist in isolation. Our network layer protocols, like IPv4 and IPv6, are built directly on top of that Layer 2 bedrock we just talked about. They work as a stack. While Layer 2 handles local delivery, Layer 3 is all about the big picture. Logical addressing and routing to find the absolute best path to a different network halfway across the globe.
To find that optimal path, routers act as the logical brains of the internet, and they rely heavily on their routing table. A router checks the prefix and network mask to figure out the destination, then determines the next hop IP address. But what happens if it learns 3 different ways to get to the same place? Well, that's where administrative distance, which is basically how much you trust the route, and the metric, the actual cost of taking that route, kick in. The router uses protocols like OSPF to dynamically build this map, and if it's completely stumped, it just punts the traffic over to the gateway of last resort.
If you want to see that brain actually making decisions in real time, Show IP Route is your golden ticket. It is hands down the best way to visualize an active routing table in a live Cisco environment. If you're ever on an incident response call trying to figure out why traffic isn't hitting a secure server or why data is randomly going to the wrong subnet, this is literally the very first command you're going to run.
All right, part 4, IP services and network utilities.
We're talking about the unsung heroes of the network here. DHCP is automatically handing out IP addresses. DNS is translating website names into those IPs. NTP is keeping your time synchronized, which is an absolute lifesaver when you're trying to read incident logs accurately. Then you have SNMP for device management and syslog vacuuming up all your system messages. On paper, these just look like background administrative services. But listen closely. Because they are so heavily trusted and deeply embedded, these are the exact utilities that attackers will immediately try to exploit. So the bottom line is this. Relying on unmonitored, unsecured network utilities is literally like building a multi-million-dollar fortress with reinforced steel walls and then just leaving the wooden back door wide open. That's exactly why Cisco makes Security Fundamentals 15% of this exam. You have to aggressively shift your mindset from just making the network work to making the network fundamentally secure.
Finally, Part 5, Security Fundamentals and CyberOps. Let's lock down the vault.
I want you to really think about this for a second. How do you protect a network if you don't know how it routes? There's this pervasive myth out there that cybersecurity is just a standalone field, that you can jump in and be a hacker or a defender without really knowing core IT. That is completely false. You can't configure an access control list, you can't tune an intrusion prevention system, and you certainly can't stop an attacker from exfiltrating data if you don't even understand the TCP/IP protocols they're actively abusing.
It's a strict cause and effect relationship. Check out this progression. Step 1. You have to master the networking standard. You learn exactly how a DHCP server offers IPs to clients. Step 2. Because you know the protocol inside and out, you recognize the threat, like DHCP spoofing, where a bad actor spins up a rogue server to hand out fake gateways. Step 3. Now you can apply the countermeasure. You implement DHCP snooping, a Layer 2 switch feature that physically blocks those rogue offers. That security mitigation is literally impossible to put in place without the networking foundation. And this exact principle applies across the board at Layer 2. Let's do a rapid-fire look at how CyberOps is really just applied networking. An attacker tries ARP spoofing to poison your addresses, bam, you counter with dynamic ARP inspection. They try MAC spoofing to overflow your tables, you lock down that physical switch interface with port security. What if they try to hijack your spanning tree protocol to intercept traffic? You stop them cold with BPDU guard and root guard. Every single one of these threats is neutralized strictly by understanding the CCNA topics we just went over.
This quote from the CCNA Cybersecurity Operations Material sums it up perfectly. The skills you are building from the ground up right now, understanding frames, IP routing, securing those background utilities, these are the exact foundations that translate directly to high-level Security Operations Center tasks. When you truly know the network, you can perform deep intrusion analysis, you can execute a flawless incident response, and you can handle post-exploitation assessments with absolute total confidence. So it all comes down to this. Are you ready to build your cybersecurity fortress? Getting your CCNA 200-301 is not just about making data flow from point A to point B, it's about taking true ownership of the infrastructure, mastering the automation tools of the future, and securing every single layer against whatever threat is coming tomorrow. Crack open those study materials, lay down your bedrock, and start building. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and keep learning.